Hello and welcome. This is Barbara Langston, Certified Zentangle Teacher. And today I am going to do, this is day 26. And today's pattern is Paradox by Zentangle. And when I first learned about Paradox, I had trouble with it. I will admit to that. But once it clicked in my brain, I was able to understand it better, and now it's one of my all-time favorites. And I'm going to show you a grid, a square grid, and hopefully I'll get this divided up nice and evenly. Here. Here. Not exactly centered on my paper here, but this will be a good way to start. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to show you in the center square with a brown micron 01, I'm going to start my first part of Paradox. And the way I remembered it in the beginning is I'm going to start in a corner, I'm going to start small and go big. So I'm just going to do a straight line from this corner. It's going to start out small and gradually get bigger. Okay, now I'm going to turn my tile and I'm going to do that exact same thing. I'm going to start small and it's going to get bigger. And I'm making these kind of wide because I don't want to spend a huge amount of time making very fine lines, but this will give you an idea. Okay, continue to turn your tile, start small, let it get a little bit bigger. And then I'm going to try to make them all be about that same width when I get them up to the top. The easiest thing for you to do is keep your pen in one place and just keep turning your tile. And just keep an eye on where you had your pen the last time and make your next line. Some people have said they like to keep their pen at that point. I don't. I know as I'm turning, that's where I had it last. And I'm just going to keep turning. The paradox part of this name is that it's done completely with straight lines, but when you're finished, you have a beautiful curve. And the closer your lines are to each other, like if I had them really narrow, the prettier the curve and the detail is. But like I said, I just want to show you the basics of how this works. And you can see I'm not absolutely consistent with how wide mine are at the end, but it's okay. Just keep going, turn your tile. And if you happen to get to a point where you say, oh, I know I'm going to have to get up, go answer the phone or whatever, start your line kind of like that. And then when you come back, you can see, oh, okay, this is the corner that I was in. But even if you don't, it's no big deal. You can just pick up in any of these corners and start making your lines again. And if you happen to mess up and I went, oh dear, I made that one too big, just put another one in there. It's not going to matter. You're going to be the only one that knows that you did that. But when the pattern is all finished, it's still going to look good. It might make a slight difference, but this is not a contest. When I get to the very end, I tend to just go ahead and do it like that. Okay? So, as you can see, this almost looks like it's half of a fan right in here. Okay? I think that's a very pretty pattern that it makes. And the way that we did this was we started, okay, I started on this side. I started here in this direction. So I went here, and then I turned, and I went this way, and then I turned and went in that direction, and then I just kept going like that. So I was going in a clockwise direction on all of these. So now I'm going to switch to the black just so you can see the difference between these. So I'm going to do the same thing here. I started in this corner. So again, I'm going to start here and I'm going to go clockwise. So go, turn. It's always easier if you'll turn your tile. Yeah, the nice thing about YouTube is in the settings, you can speed these up if things get kind of slow. I do have some certain videos where I'm watching a tutorial and I speed it up. I think you can go to 2 times the regular speed. And I'll try not to do this too terribly slow for you. If I have an evening where I want to just relax at the end of the day, sometimes I'll just do paradox. To me, it's doesn't take a lot of thinking. It's very relaxing, and I enjoy the outcome. And I'm going to show you a few of the tiles and the variations that I've done. And Margaret Bremner has a site called Enthusiastic Artist, and she has a page called Paradox and Then Some, and she's got some cool ideas there. If you want to check that out, I'll try to remember. I will try to remember to put a link in the description. And I do put links to all of the step outs in the description of these videos. I would appreciate it if you would hit the like button if you like these and subscribe. I'm hoping to continue to do these little tutorials about different patterns even after Inktober is finished. Okay, like I say, when I get down this far, I like to just do it without turning the paper. Okay, so on this second one, again, we went in the same direction that we started that first one. And we went clockwise, like that, on each of these. And this gives you what we call kind of a twisted cylinder type look in this section. And then there's another look that you can get, and that is if you want that fan to be even bigger. And that's one of my favorite things to do. And when I'm trying to do that, what I'm looking for is here is how that fan is going. So instead of starting in this corner and doing like we did here, I'm going to start in this corner. And then I'm going to have it get bigger. So start small and get big. But I'm going to go counterclockwise. And then when I get over here, I'm going to continue to go counterclockwise. Okay, so I'm going to start small and get bigger. Start small, let it get bigger. You can do paradox inside any shape. I like doing it in a hexagon, which ends up being just really a lot of triangles put together, and it makes a really pretty pattern. I don't think I have one of my hexagons to show you, but I have some others. Like I said, once you kind of figure out what this is doing, then you can do it inside of almost any shape. Just relax, follow the lines, smaller to bigger. And you can see the fan is starting to show up now. If I really get into this, I forget to talk. This is a very meditative pattern for me. Okay, now I'm just going to go ahead and do it without turning. Okay, so there you go. Now you can see what I'm talking about, this pretty fan pattern that you can get. Or you have this twisted cylinder pattern. And if we add shading to that, and I bring my shading up as if this were going under this other part. That's how I like to shade, where this twist occurs. And I don't do heavy shading. Some people do. I tend to not do very heavy. Soften it with your tortillon. You can do this same effect by putting several triangles together next to each other. And you can end up with either the little twisted cylinder or the fans. You can put striping. If you do these extra large, you can put patterns inside. One of my other favorite things to do is that you can put some weighting at the tops of these. Makes for a very interesting pattern. Hopefully doing the colors like that helped you to see the difference. Normally I would have this all in one color, but I wanted you to see that these are 3 different squares put together. And again, these are both going clockwise, but this one I did counterclockwise on purpose because I wanted to get this big, beautiful fan pattern. So if I wanted to put another square down here and continue with that fan, then I would start my paradox going in that direction, opposite of what I did on this one. If I wanted this one to have the twist, then I would start it and go from here and go upwards and do it also clockwise. Hopefully that makes sense. Like I say, it took a while for me to figure out how to do it just right. And now it's one of my favorites. I'm going to show you, if I wanted to, I could go back and just put a little bit of weighting at the top of each of these. And here you go, you see just a little bit of heaviness at the top, which we call weighting, like a heavyweight. And if I'm doing the weighting, usually I do it as I'm doing each line, but you can go back and do it like I'm doing now. And this has a nice effect. You can go in and fully color in every other stripe. And that definitely has a whole new effect on it. And like I said, if you do your lines even closer together, of course that one got a little bit sloppy there. Do your lines kind of close together, then that detailing is really nice. Okay, one more here. Okay, so there you go. Adding some weighting at the end. You can actually round these even more. And I enjoy doing that too. So I'll go back in and I'll add rounding on each edge. And again, like I said, you can do this same thing. The basic pattern is the same whether you're in a triangle, a square, hexagon, or even just a random shape, you can get paradox to work. And I know there are some people who go back in and they speed up their videos, but I have seen that done in the past and wanted to see it at a normal speed and couldn't. And so I'm not going to do that to my videos. You can fast forward, move forward, or just watch me do it at the real time speed. Hopefully that helps you out. I want you to see how this looks. This is one of my favorites. It's just, paradox is a favorite, period. I love it. Once I figured it out, in the beginning it was a little bit tough, but kind of one of those things that once your brain goes, oh, I see that, then you're able to do it. And then just relax and enjoy drawing each line. Okay. Now, isn't that cool? All right, so basically that's paradox. I could show you in a square. I've shown you in a square. I could show you triangles or whatever, but it's basically just the same. So if we were to do, oops, triangle, you're just going to do the same thing, okay? But I wanted to show you in a square because then you get the bigger pattern to see the details of that fan. And I just love how you're doing just straight lines, yet you end up with this beautiful round curve. And if you go to Margaret Brimner's blog, Paradox and Then Some, she shows doing all kinds of intricate patterns. All right, so there you go. That is the basics of how to do paradox. I hope you enjoy it, and I hope you don't get frustrated with it. Okay, so now I'm going to show you, oops, sorry about that, some of the other tiles that I have done that I've really enjoyed. Here's one that I did just random pattern in here and then went in and filled it in with paradox. This is paradox in a ribbon, and you could do that as a border all the way around your tile. Would be really pretty if you like doing the little delicate work like that. I used to do a lot more details like that, not so much lately. And I don't remember the exact pattern that I put in here, but I know it's just a pretty random string. Okay, so there's that one. This one is just a lot of triangles. So this is actually the pattern Tripoli, which is just, again, a lot of triangles, but I set them into the format to make it look like a star. And then I did these so that as I started the next triangle out here, I wanted to make sure that it looked like a fan. There's some distance between each one, but you can still see it. So there's that one. This one I was doing just for practice one day to see what the different roundings and thicknesses and drama would look like. I started putting patterns into each one of these lines, and I didn't finish it, but you can always go in later and finish a tile. This one kind of reminds me of piano keys. And then on this side, I brought the shading down a little bit further. Okay. And then the last one I want to show you is one of my favorites. This is the pattern Umble. And I did just these outside ribbons for Umble. And I was going to fill this with something else and then decided not to. So what I've got is like a square with the corners kind of rounded off. And then I went ahead and did the paradox with the weighted ends. And I just loved how it made this swirling motion going down into the center of this. This is one of my favorite tiles. All right, so there you go. I hope you have fun with this. I really hope that this has helped you. This, again, is one of my favorite patterns. I can put it anywhere. And I will give you the link to Margaret Brimner's blog, her Paradox and Then Some, and maybe you can come up with some other ideas that you would like to try. Thanks again for watching. Have fun, and I will see you next time. Bye.